Have you ever wondered what about a small Lamborghini Urus? Well, probably that's it, the Audi RS Q3 Sportback, and we'll also compare it to the Q3 SUV. Let's go! A base Audi Q3 already looks quite sporty with a huge front grille, and the RS Q3 adds this shiny black element right there. Then we have this former Quattro citations right there and a stronger lower bumper and bigger air intakes. This one here is now the Sportback, but again in the front it's somewhat the same. But for both the Q3 SUV and the Sportback, you can get a shadow pack or this black package where you have the front Audi rings also in black and then more black accentuations all over the vehicle, for example also here in the lower bumper. 4.48 meters, 14'7" or 176 inches is the length of the Q3 SUV. Here in the RS style you have a contrasting lower one and then also chrome frame around the windows. We'll soon again compare the black pack at the Sportback. 20-inch rims would be standard, optional 21-inch. This is pretty massive for a rather small vehicle. And now we switch over to the Sportback. Very interesting. First of all, we also have this black pack here. See the black frames around the windows, then also black alloys in 21-inch here too. This one is also optionally equipped with the carbon ceramic brake. However, in this segment only at the front and not at the rear. Here then the most important thing about the Sportback is the roofline, 2.9 centimeters, so about 3 centimeters lower right here, so you will lose some trunk height, but then you have this sportier coupe shape, and also those shoulders look a little bit stronger in this case then. So what's your pick? The rear is a typical head shape, this one here the Q3 SUV. Then you have this nice LED signature also for the rear, and in the normal package also a bright contrast in the lower end with a swinging line. The Q3, the RS Q3 also gets this sports exhaust, performance exhaust, and well, there are real exhaust on the inside here. They are split 4 actually, and then there's this outer egg beauty tip here then again in a chrome scheme. The window is very flat here in the Sportback. This creates a sportier look. And since this one also has the black pack, again also available for the Q3 SUV, but here the Audi rings in black, RS Q3 logo, black accentuations here in the lower bumper in front of the diffuser. So this adds some more aggressiveness even further. And then this one here is also equipped with the performance exhaust. It fits very well because that one also has a black ring then around this beauty tip. It looks from the form totally the same, but the performance exhaust is different on the inside a little bit, therefore creates a better sound. Engine is both the same for the RS Q3 and the RS Q3 Sportback. Very nice engine cover here, by the way, for this 5-cylinder engine. Very special one. Hardly see that on the market. 400 horsepower, 2.5 liter of displacement, and 4.5 seconds is the acceleration figure to 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour. Here you get those RS steering wheel, either with perforation, but we'll soon also show the Alcantara version, RS badge at the lower end. And seats, standard would be a normal sports seat, which is also available for normal Q3, then with Alcantara on the inside and also stronger bolstering. This one here is the optional RS sports seat with an integrated head restraint. It looks somewhat cooler. This one is only available full animal spec and also with this quilted structure, and the surface is harder, more animals are being harmed, and it's also less comfortable for everyday driving life. Again, it looks cooler, looks sportier, but if you want better comfort, stay with the base sports seats. I mean, you sit a little bit lower since either normal sports suspension, a fixed one, which is lower and stiffer, or an adaptive sports suspension, which also has the RS setup. We would recommend the adaptive suspension to give you a little bit more comfort and also flexibility. Then seat control is here, in this case electric. The comfort, the seating position is generally quite upright and comfortable, but again, more comfort with the base sport seats, as I just told you. Headroom, this is interesting. I mean, I'm 1m86 or 6'1". There's still plenty of headroom left. The difference is here, the Sportback is always a little bit flatter in the A-pillar. Not as, as flat as in the rear. The comparison in the rear about 3 centimeters flatter than the SUV. In the front it's about 1.5. So here with the normal SUV, you have like 1 or 2 centimeters more headroom in the front. But it's not that critical. So also as a tall person, no problem here, even in the Sportback. Interior overview. The whole screen is leaned to about 10 degrees towards you, towards the driver. And in base Q3 it would be 8.8 inch. And most of the RS Q3 in the most markets will come directly here with the 10.1 inch bigger screen. Soon more details to that. There's an Alcantara insert right there. It's also beautifully done, and together with those carbon fiber inserts, soft touch dashboard. So the GPS view right here with a satellite view, pretty interesting and really fast. It's the same processor unit then as we have in the bigger Audi models. Pretty fancy. Then the normal main menu right here with the app view. Phone apps, they can activate the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto with cable, or now starting August 2019 wireless CarPlay. You're very flexible with this virtual cockpit. You can even have the GPS map here all over the place. That's pretty amazing, and you can also switch to other views in here. So when I am driving, the driver's seat is set to my position, especially with those very voluminous sport seats. There's hardly any legroom left. It does exactly fit actually here. Again, 1m86 or 6'1", and above my head I can still put my hand over it if I'm relaxed with my spine. As soon as I put up my spine, then I hit the head here at the ceiling. So this is a difference. Then the Sportback has less headroom. I'll soon show you that also again in the direct comparison to the Q3 SUV. It's still somewhat okay for 4 tall adults, yes. And now the trunk of the Sportback, and the funny thing is, it's 530 liters, the same liter figure as for the Q3 SUV, and the reason is that the trunk capacity is measured below this cover here, and so the lost height in the top part does not take, it's not taken into account as for that. And a short look to the Q3 SUV interior. It's not specific to that one, but this one here with the red accentuations on the seats. And even cooler, and this spec, you can get it both for the SUV and the Sportback, is the steering wheel. We have here with the Alcantara cover that gives you a better grip. And indeed, here in the Q3 SUV, you have a little bit more headroom. There's also panoramic roof available, by the way, if you like that. But since the A-pillar is not that flat, you have a little bit more, spacious feeling here in the front. Even bigger the difference here in the rear of the Q3 SUV. Definitely more legroom, so it was like this with the other one, like this here. When you take a look at the height right here below the cover, it's actually also the same, here it's about 40 centimeters here, and I just measured it. So everything is below this cover is pretty much identical. The difference is really more with what's above the cover. And now to our conclusion for today with the RS Q3 and the RS Q3 Sportback. In general, what do you need an RS Q3 for? Well, let's say you want a compact hot hatch, but you still want a higher seating position, a little bit more comfort. And the car shouldn't be too large actually that you can still park in and out at the city, but you want a real performance car. So that might be a solution then for you. Interior build quality is pretty cool. Of course, some lacking of the animal skin alternative still here, which is pretty common at Audi still. They will be changing that in the future, but it will take some more years. As for the flexibility, you lose a little bit with the Sportback in the rear for the rear seating and also a little bit for the trunk, but I think you can still live with that. It does have a quite sexy look indeed here as the Sportback Coupe alike, so it's one of those SUV coupes I really like very much. Also recently, as we presented you the normal version of the Q3 Sportback, it got actually quite good feedback. However, if practicability is more important to you, then it would be the standard Q3 SUV. Maybe my pick for today would be the Coupe or the Sportback in turbo blue together with the chrome frame around the windows. That would be looking quite interesting. For the most comfortable setup here, if you want the performance version but still with the most comfort, stick with the base wheel size. Get the Alcantara normal Alcantara sport seats then. and also the adaptive suspension, and then you will have the best everyday driving setup as for this one. So what about you? Please give us your feedback. Which one would you take, SUV or the Sportback? And do you think it makes sense to get it with an RS badge? Well, I mean, the price will be a crucial point, at least double the price than a normal base Q3, so this will be pretty harsh. Yeah, you have to think about it sometime if the RS3 was already very, very expensive. Looking forward to the performance here of the 5-cylinder, which is a very interesting engine, but yeah, the price point will be probably one of the most crucial ones.